Hey guys, welcome to Ecclesia number 23. We had a off week last week, so it's been 3 weeks since we last had our AMA. So welcome, and thanks for joining us. Couple of things I want to talk about is the state of we did start active set as you know last week, so or 2 weeks ago. So we're basically in the middle of that testing process. We're getting all the apps on the network and making sure that they work with the network. There are some issues with some configuration that we need to take care of in the second round of testing. So I'll give you an overview of where we are and what we're gonna do next, and then talk about some of the results of some internal tests that we have done in comparison with AWS. We have optimized our platform to have a better performance than AWS. So that's something I'll share and then go through some of the questions. All right, so let's see. So okay, let's switch to browser. Okay, so first I want to show like how many issues there are. There's still 31 issues. Most of them are assigned, as you know. So they're in works, and some of them actually have been merged. They just need to be taken off. Like these guys are merged, so they need to be taken off. So actually, it's less than 31. There are a few that are unassigned, but most of what's happening is most of them are basically in progress, and they will be merged for the next update that we're gonna do on the active set. Um, so if you were to go and look at the spreadsheet of things that needs to be done, we have now Atlas, Vault, Blimp, and Chimney on the beta network. And then we're gonna have Bolt and Chalk shortly, probably by tomorrow. We're doing some internal tests. So we have, we have a professional tester now that has gone through all the apps. There are about and uncovered about 400 issues. So we have kind of whittled them down to about 50 now. So we expect that to sort out in the next day or so. And then we can release Bolt and Chalk to the active set guys to test it out. So that's the plan, basically to test all the apps on the beta network. And then in terms of mobile and desktop, we're planning to do these tests post mainnet. So if the web works, basically it's good to go, and then we will and this is basically what we're doing right now, manual testing all the apps until September 20th. And then we're also going to do some Cypress tests, which you won't see, but we'll be doing automating it, and we'll be doing it on the beta network. That's we have been doing it on other networks, on our internal networks, but now we're going to do it on the beta network to make sure that all of that passes. And then once it's done, we will redeploy or upgrade the network. I think we'll have to redeploy with clean database. So we'll have to go through the same process that we went through to get the active set up. So that's gonna be what we're gonna be doing. So let's see. So basically, we'll do a Cypress. So we will repeat the tests on the 24th. So after we upgrade, we'll basically repeat the tests, and then if the tests are all good, then we will claim that we are mainnet ready. And after that, we will launch the mainnet in the same fashion that we will do the upgrade, or sorry, we'll do the redeployment, and then we will announce that the mainnet is here. So that's something we will do. We'll not do a then we can do a countdown, but really it's really live, because we don't want to do a countdown and not be able to have the mainnet launch because we don't have everybody on board. Because as you know, to start the mainnet, we need all the miners and charters together. So that's the reason that we wanna do the mainnet launch and then have a countdown for marketing reasons to announce to the public that the mainnet is up and running. And I think we will do that after we also, test the apps manually, and also, we'll do some automation testing as well on the mainnet to make sure that all the web apps are working. If they are working, then we will announce to the world that the mainnet is ready, and it's ready for business, basically. So that's the plan. And then we will release mobile and desktop apps on the mainnet, because there's no reason to do additional testing. We're already doing internal testing, and we have as I said, we have a professional tester now who is working through all the apps. Actually, we have added more testers, so we have like 3 testers now. Because we have so many apps and variations of it on mobile and desktop platforms. So you can think of like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are like 10 different apps, and as well as we want to test the CLIs, the Zbox CLI, the Z Wallet CLI, to make sure, and the SDKs, so Go SDK and the JavaScript SDK. So there's actually quite a bit of testing that needs to be done. That's why we have more testers now in place, and these are professional testers that have done work with apps as well as SDKs. So so there are a couple of things that are remaining. Cypress with chaos test, which we expect to have a clean run probably end of the week. This is internal. And then we also have videos for Chalk that is left, because Chalk is not fully done yet, because we just are doing some live contracts. As you know, we deployed live contracts a week ago, and we're doing that manual testing for the decentralized exchange, actually for the token bridge. And we're also doing testing for NFTs. So that will, once that is done, probably this week, then we can do the video. So again, 31 issues today. It has been fairly constant since July. It's been holding steady, which is a good thing, because we're uncovering less and less bugs, and as we fixing them, and some of them are long issues, so they have been we have been working on it for like a month or so, but that's because some of them are difficult issues to work with. There are a few items that we do need to close. So the Bluetooth is one. We are expected to close this week. Same thing with ZeroBox highly available deployment. That's something we will do this week as well as Zero DNS. But that's that's not here, but I'll write it down. Zero DNS September 17 probably. And then video streaming as well. Sometime this week and next week, we want to close it. So these are the remaining items basically that we need to close prior to going to mainnet. So it's looking good. If you look at the mainnet, I'll give you a shot of what the mainnet looks like. This is what the mainnet looks like. As you can see, there are 103 miners and 27 charters. So basically 130 nodes. And they're doing pretty good. If you look at the chain stats, where our finalization is 400 milliseconds, and then that is a steady state block generation. In terms of start to finish, it's about 2.5 seconds, and then transaction finalization is about 4 seconds. So that's as fast as you can. I think that's the fastest right now if you look at any of the um, other blockchains that are not as fast as 400 milliseconds. So that's sub-second finality. And we don't have any rollbacks. So essentially, once you have a transaction and it gets into the block, so blocks finalization means if the transaction is in the block, it takes 2.5 seconds from start to finish. And the transaction, sometimes it waits before it gets into the block because, there may be it may be in a miner that's not selected to be the generator, so it has to wait for it to be selected and then it gets on the block. So that's why it's a little longer, because it may have to wait a couple of seconds to be chosen as the generator. And if you're not a high ranking generator, then you're not gonna be able to finalize your block. So if you look at these indices like 11, 1, so if you're 1, that means you have a chance for your block to get finalized, but you're like a backup. So this is the 11th backup, right? So here, as you can see, is 0. So this miner 51 has their block is gonna get finalized more so than any of the other miners, but because they're all kind of backups in a sense. You can see so these miners are distributed over US and Europe data centers, and as you can see, where in terms of the network time, it's around 180. They're pretty much all less than 180 milliseconds, as you can see in this column. So that's the good news, that everybody is operating on a good data center, and we have excellent speed. So as I said, I mean, this is something you don't see in any other blockchain, where you can finalize a block within 400 milliseconds. That's pretty amazing, actually. We have come a long way in the 6 years. So this is the miner generation counts. As you can see, everybody is generating. Then there is a verification. Everybody is verifying X number of blocks, and then the finalization per miner. So you can see there's some differences based on some miners who have dropped off or joined later, but that's the finalization. As you can see, most of them get generated if you're rank 0. Most of your blocks get finalized. If you're rank 1, then some of your blocks will get finalized. And then, if you're rank 6, it's very rare that your block will get finalized. I don't see, I think even rank 13 got something finalized, like 2 blocks finalized. But so there are reasons to believe that even if you're the lowest rank, like here, rank 15, you still got a couple of blocks finalized. So if you're a very good miner, chances are, if somebody else is not able to generate a block in time, then your block will be chosen. All right, so okay. I also wanted to show you a couple of things. The results of the AWS performance. So this is a performance that probably here. Okay, so you can see the AWS upload takes about 11 seconds. Download takes about 7.36 seconds. whereas our upload takes about 6.8 and download is about 3.6. So this test was done with the client on an AWS instance with 10 gig link, uplink and downlink, so that there is no limitation on the client side. And this is a typical scenario. Let's say I'm doing computing on the cloud, on AWS cloud or Azure or GCP, and my data is on Zeus. Then how does it compare versus if I were to put the data on S3? So that's where we did the comparison. So we used the AWS instance as the client, and the client had 10 gig link, uplink and downlink. And then we compared it how long does it take to put data into S3 and pull data from S3, and then compared it to how long does it take to pull data from Zeus and put data to Zeus. So that's the comparison. And as you can see, we're almost 2x better than AWS, close to 2x. And this is with EC5.1. Now, if we do EC10.15, this is basically means 5 data and 1 parity. And this is 900 megabytes, so about 1 GB. You can think of it that way, 1 GB file. And times 8 means there are 8 repetitions of the same test, so that you get some variation. As you can see, there's a variation on AWS quite a bit, the green and the red lines. For us, there's not much variation except for like one data point here, I believe, and one data point here. It seems like something happened on the uplink and downlink. But for the most part, we are steady on the upload and on the download. Yeah, so this is a good test result, and I'm quite happy with that. This will be incorporated, all this new code will be incorporated in the next release. Okay, so we have 3 questions from the AMA. So I'll go through them one by one. Regarding the website, how is Zeus suitable for AI? So Zeus is, if you look at the AI data, the AI is important to all enterprises today because they're incorporating it within their chat bots and things like that for basically learning. And if you input the wrong data, then your results will be wrong, right? So you could manipulate the response based on the input. And so it's very important to keep your data safe and protected. And that's where we can come in. So there are 3 things we can help AI data. One, with the decentralized storage, you're inherently, the data is protected because it's cut up into pieces. It's in different servers. So even if one server gets hacked, then the data cannot be manipulated, and if it's manipulated, it's only in one server. And remember, we do validation of data. So if your original content is not the same as the one you download, then it won't work in our case. So there's a value in decentralization, decentralized storage. Second, we provide immutability features, which means if you upload your content, nobody can change it and nobody can delete it. So there's a feature called immutable feature in our allocation, which allows this to happen. And the third thing is encryption. So you could encrypt the data, and you could use our proxy re-encryption protocol to share the proxy key to anybody to use that data. So you could ask the AI model, you can only give the key to the AI model to use it. So you could essentially be, you could layer these security layers, right? Decentralization is one layer, immutability is a second layer, third layer would be encryption and encrypted data sharing. So you could really bulletproof any data that you're feeding into the AI model, and make sure that it's well protected. So that's where Zeus would really shine and would be suitable for AI. That's what I mean by, because today, nobody really talked about how they can protect the AI data, because they didn't think through all the ways that AI could be misused, mishandled, or fed misinformation. Okay, so second question is, what's the status of the Magma partnership? Well, right now it's on hold, basically. So we'll our goal right now is to get the storage up and working, get all the apps solidified with our customer base, and then release the next version of our platform, which is Kilimanjaro, and then we can talk about the Magma partnership. So at least for the next year, we're focused on storage and the next version, Kilimanjaro, which is, view change and getting the DAO to be working. The last question, what is a good number of blobbers to have for testing mainnet launch? So it depends. I would say, first of all, we don't have a control of that. That's up to the our anybody can join and be a blobber and participate on the network. We will have at least 15, probably 20 blobbers on the network during mainnet launch. Each will have about 100 terabytes. So essentially, we'll start with at least, if you're doing 10, 15, probably around 1 petabyte of data on the network. But there will be others who will also have storage on the network. All right, so, okay. Looks like there are no questions. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I'm assuming everybody is sorted out and don't have any questions. So I'm hoping that next AMA, when we do this again, we will have a finite date for mainnet launch, because we'll have gone through all the testing, as well as probably another redeployment of the active set with the new code and new configuration and everything. So we'll basically do this one more time, and then if the tests go fine, then we will be in a position to announce when the mainnet would be live. All right. Till then, thank you for joining us, and